Well, hello there. My name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. We're starting 2020 off getting full in the rumor mill because there's some rumors out there about potentially a new Kemper in 2021. And I want to break down what's going on, and I want to break down and give you some new sort of developments. You've maybe heard some of these rumors. It comes down to this. Kemper recently posted this photo to their Instagram. Okay, it looks like a stage, except here's another photo of a stage. Now, look, I got to be honest. I at first I thought, this is not a new Kemper. They're not hinting at anything. But the only caption they gave us was the rock hands. Then I saw, another photo that somebody posted. This is my friend Ryan posted this photo. Said, I don't know, it doesn't look like my stage. And obviously here we're looking, lighting conditions are really important. They're very different. And so I pulled up something that looked a little more similar. Here's the official product photo from Sweetwater. This coloration is a little closer, but I want to bring your attention to a couple things we see. The reason this photo that Kemper posted to Instagram is so intriguing is it has there's obviously a filter on this thing, right? But it has this lighting element coming through from the back of the Kemper logo. Up at the oil derrick part, there's like light emanating through at the very top and the very bottom, and there seems to be more light coming through around the tube. I don't know what's causing that. Now, this photo is obviously turned into some sort of a more monochromatic type thing, or maybe not even. See, what weirds me out about this photo is I originally looked at it and thought there's a new Kemper coming, especially when I look at that other photo. If you look at the comments on both the Facebook and Instagram section of this post that Kemper put up, there's a bunch of people saying they're probably hinting at something new. Is it a mini Kemper? Is it a powered stage? I want to get into the likelihood of both of those in 1 minute. But I want to say this. What's missing from this image here is the signature green glow from both the Kemper logo, but especially from those buttons. On my personal stage, those buttons glow greener than the logo itself. It almost looks like this photo was made monochromatic, and then the orange was added in after. These sort of orange highlights or elements. I really have no idea. I don't know that there's someone at Kemper photoshopping this or whatever. It looks to me like a cell phone photo with just some filters on it. And that Kemper might have been off or not on at all, but it looks like there's some glow. I don't know. The other thing that weirds me out is, you look back. Here's a Kemper on and illuminated. Those buttons are not nearly as bright, and the little triangles to the right of the Kemper logo are not lit up nearly as much as the logo itself. Yet in this photo, everything seems to be illuminated in sort of a very uniform fashion, almost as there's lights behind all of this. Even that amber glow is getting some light coming through the material. My stage isn't like that. The stage in this photo is not like that, but it's like that in Kemper's actual post. So let me get on to this. I want to talk about what this could be and what it might not be, but I want to give you one more development in the rumor mill story, and that is this. I'm going to read you the comment. They recently posted again, and they posted Happy 2021. Welcome to 2021. Let's all enjoy the ride. That's the official Kemper Instagram. And the Tone Junkie account, Tone Junkie TV, said, that's us, are we sure this is a stage? Kemper replied, at Tone Junkie TV, absolutely sure. Smile, live long and prosper symbol, Spock hands. There's no tone on the internet, so I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek. I don't know at all. But I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to go on record and say I've got a little suspicion that something is coming up. I actually think we may see a new Kemper in 2021. Now, let me explain. Let me explain how I get there with my thinking. It seemed that the majority of people in the Kemperverse and gearheads would agree that a smaller HX Stomp-sized Kemper unit would be a killer piece of gear. It would be a killer unit. And it would fill kind of a hole in the market where right now, if you are a person who wants to integrate amp sounds into an existing pedal board, your only options are the Strymon Iridium, which has no effects, and the HX Stomp. Now, I want to say this about the Strymon Iridium because I think it's the number one thing that is wrong with the Strymon Iridium, and that's this. That's a cool unit and it sounds great. But if you put it on a pedal board and then you take that pedal board and sometimes use a real amplifier, like you have a pedal board you built and at home you use a real amp, or sometimes on a loud stage you use a real amp, but you want to have the Iridium on your board so that you can just take your pedal board and go direct sometimes. The problem with the Iridium is it's a pedal that then has no use for your setup. At best, you can defeat it. They didn't give us the ability to, turn on the reverb that's built in or add it as like a boost or something. So it's completely worthless when you're not using it as your amp. The HX Stomp is great because it's all of the Helix HX stuff in a smaller package. It's obviously more difficult to access parameters and presets, but you can put it on a pedal board. You can use it as amp sim and some effects, but when you're plugged into a real amp, the HX Stomp probably has has so much flexibility because you can just cycle over to another screenshot, another preset, another snapshot, and another preset, and instantly you can just have some delays and reverbs, and you can be using it with a real amp without the amp sims getting in the way. Bravo, that's a nice design. However, we have to be honest. The market has largely spoken. There is a general consensus among players that the amp sounds in the Kemper are just the best on the market right now. Sometimes people say the Axe sounds better, but I've talked to many Axe players who say that's not true. I've talked to many people, and just, if that bothers you, I would just say there's a lot of things the Helix and the Axe have going for it that maybe make it superior to the Kemper, maybe in terms of UI, if you prefer, more readouts on the display and less tactile buttons. But if you prefer more tactile stuff, the Kemper's going to have the advantage there. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. You're not going to find in the Kemper community people go, I really love my Kemper, but I just think my Helix sounds better. You just never hear it. Literally, I've never seen posted anywhere. Let's get back on track here. Some people have been asking for, and many people have been asking for, a small HX Stomp size Kemper. Kemper is aware there's a desire for this. There's a market demand. I asked them about this. I said, at NAMM, I said, Christoph, a lot of people would love this HX Stomp kind of Kemper. And he said, yes, of course. We know. We're aware, that some people would like an even smaller version. And now the stage is out. Okay. I have no insider information on that they're building that unit or not. It's personally, I suspect that they have at least explored it greatly. And I think they will come out with that unit eventually. I think this year. I hope they come out with it this year. That's me going on record. I'm predicting a mini Kemper in 2021. We'll see. We will see. But all that to say, the other sort of suspect in the room, the other possibility is it may be a powered stage. Now, Kemper has sort of released some products that, to me, seem to have created a bit of a problem for them, or at least a bit of a challenge. Kemper in the last, to me, year and a half, 2 years, has crushed the sort of narrative that some people seem to have, that Kemper just thinks their unit's perfect and they'd sit around doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs like there's nothing for them left to do. In the last year and a half to 2 years, Kemper has given us an editor which did not exist before. We now can plug in our Kemper edit patches. We can store and share presets, store and share cabs. We couldn't do that before. We got new overdrives. They released, the Kemper stage is actually probably a little older than that now, but the stage is, not that old. And then the Kemper cab and the Kemper cone. In the last 2 years, being a Kemper owner has just been a hugely exciting community to belong to. Well, the problem with the Kemper cone and the Kemper cab is this. They got with Celestion and they created what I think is the best solution for listening to your Kemper and sort of solving the amp in the room problem of digital modeling, which is, well, I kind of want to sound like the amp's in here with me. Okay, so we've got now speaker imprints. Oh, I didn't even say that. They added speaker imprints. So we've got speaker imprints and they sound great, but from what I can tell, the majority, maybe even the vast majority of Kempers, actually, I will say this, the vast majority of Kempers that have been sold or are being sold now are unpowered, especially when you look at how popular the Stage is, and that's unpowered. So it looked to me like maybe before the Stage, unpowered Kempers maybe outsold powered Kempers. I could be wrong. That's just me looking around. But definitely, once the Stage came out, it seemed that the Stage was moving many more units than the head and the rack. Again, just an observation from what I see on the boards. So I'm looking at this going, okay, unpowered Kempers can't even use the Kemper cab and cone without an external power amp. And the whole point of them they made the cone available. You can buy the cone, put it in your own 212, 412. Kemper doesn't want to be a cab manufacturer. They're not interested in making 412s, 212s, 112s, 110s, 210s, blah, blah, blah. They're probably not doing a lot of woodworking over in Germany in their factory. Probably not a lot of wood goes in currently to their manufacturing process. But so I don't think they have any desire to be a cab manufacturer. So what they've done is they've said, hey, we get it. Not everyone wants a speaker by itself. Here's a Kemper cab. It's easy to take with you. We've made no claims about this being the most quality wood or something in the world. This is not a ported 112 Dumble design cab. It's a grab and go. Here you go. A light 112 with the Kemper cone inside at a great price point, I will add. And then you, but for those people who want more, here's the cone. Just take the cone, put it in whatever you want. The problem with that is, though, if I have a powered Kemper, I can't, and I'm on a stage, am I running a 112? All the 212, 412 people, maybe they had a powered Kemper already. Maybe Kemper's line of thinking was, if you wanted on-stage sound, you were already running that. But I think the Kemper cone and the cab has presented a new all-around solution in that when people ask me, HW, what should I buy? I tell them this. My favorite Kemper is the Stage because I can take it with me and I play my Stage live. Since the Stage came out, it's the only Kemper I play out of my house. However, the experience of being able to use the Kemper cab at home and then taking a Kemper with me on the go is really, I think, the full spectrum solution. Guitar players are still at a place where they like having an amp in the room, but stages are going more and more silent. And in this, coming out of 2020, let me ask you a question. Do you have more or less places to be loud on a stage right now? Less places, I would think. So a lot of people are thinking, is this a powered stage? I just want to throw my 2 cents in here and say this. If Kemper is releasing a powered stage, I think they're going to sell some of those units. I think on the one hand, that would be the perfect unit. I would recommend a powered stage to people when they email me, ask me in comments, which Kemper should I get? I'm thinking about getting Kemper. I would tell them, without a doubt, get a powered stage. Because to me, being able to sit at home, plug in my Kemper to a cab, play it, enjoy it like an amp in the room, I can easily plug it into my DAW and the interface, and then I can bring it here, there, I can bring it with me, and my tones are going everywhere with me. That is the best solution I've ever found. However, as a company that needs to sell some units to make some money, is this a good time to release a powered stage? Is the demand and is the use case for people who are saying, you know, I really want something portable, but I also want to be on a loud stage? You know, is that higher or lower after coronavirus? I see 2 trends. One, bars and clubs are closed. Bigger stages, like the professional stage stuff, is all going silent. It's trending silent. All the artists are, it's all about the show. You know, get your stuff off stage. Shh, quiet. Or we got to do quiet stuff. We got to do more dates. We're not having cartage. We're taking everything on the tour bus. The trend in live music has been towards smaller, more portable stages because of the economics of playing live. And then 2, I just don't. The coronavirus thing is leaving it where the stages that were still loud, pubs and clubs, bars, those little more rowdy, raucous places. You know, churches have, the trend has been let's go silent. But these sort of louder, just pubs and clubs, they're closed. They're closing, and where they're not closed, a lot of times there's a curfew and they're closing early. There's less loud stages to play on than before. So for me, if I was running Kemper, I would be cautious about releasing that unit right now. But I think it'll sell well. I don't think it's. I think they would have sold more units a year ago of it, or 2 years ago, a year and a half. But if it comes out, there will be people who want it. It's the Kemper I'll recommend. Which leads me to this. Some other challenges here about could there be a powered stage? I will say this. In terms of manufacturing capability, Kemper could probably very easily, with some reworking, make a powered stage. I think that's less of a jump than a small unit. Could they be hinting at a small unit? Maybe. But I think there's a couple things we should consider. Number one, Kemper taught us with the release of the stage that they are capable of designing and manufacturing and shipping a unit around the world without anyone knowing about it. I talked to Kemper distributors who buy Kempers from Kemper and sell them to you and me and other people. They did not know about the stage. It is my understanding that people in U.S. distribution in the Colorado facility didn't really know about the stage. They kept this thing hush-hush. They have the ability right there in Germany, the way they're set up. They're doing design. My understanding is the programmers and Christoph and where they're making this stuff, some of their offices are in one facility, and they can go down the road to the manufacturing facility, which they own. It's their employees. It's their factory. They're in control of their own destiny. They're not running into fractal FM3 delays, quad cortex delays. It's not. They are a small manufacturer that is probably limited in capability, meaning they have a constant capability. It might be difficult for them to ramp it up and down. They can't just buy a new factory, in the way that, Yamaha might have other, they might be able to actually, with their contract manufacturers, have them open up new production lines and then scale them back. They might be able to vary the sort of output of HX Stomps or helices. I guess that's a plural. But I think it would be easy for Kemper in their current capacity to add a powered version of the Kemper. They are either making the power amp themselves, or they are buying the power amp as a part already. They could easily work with that vendor to have the power amp just reworked in a way that they could put it in the stage. And that seems like not a difficult thing. However, I will bring up this. The problem with the little unit for Kemper, as I understand it, is if you think about the HX Stomp and that price point, compared to the stage price point, it's difficult unless you go manufacture things in China. You can't build things in Europe, as we're seeing with the Quad Cortex, as we're seeing with the Kemper stage. You can't build things in Europe and hit, a $500-$600 price point. It's just not going to happen. So they've got to, if it's a small, tiny unit, maybe they can get that unit down to $1,200. I think it'll sell there, but I think there'll be a lot of criticism. I think that little tiny unit will absolutely slay at $699, maybe even $799. I think at $699, that unit kills the market. A mini Kemper, $699. That unit kills. I think you could stretch that up to $699. It gets tougher as you approach $1,000 because then you start to run into a stage is only $1,500, So I don't know. But I will point out this. My understanding is now that the Kemper cone is being manufactured by Celestion and in China, that the manufacturers of the Kemper cabinet is actually a company in China. Someone's contract manufacturing these boxes, these wooden boxes, the Kemper cabs for them. And that makes a lot of sense to me because if they probably don't want to do woodworking themselves, why would you add that capability? You're not a woodworking company. You don't make, this is just one product that's sort of an add-on product to your existing product line. Also, why would it make you wouldn't have a speaker made in China, ship it all the way to Germany, have it installed, and then ship it sometimes back to Asia, back to Japan, Korea, back to, down to the Middle East, into Africa, North America, South America. This thing would be making trips around the globe. You want to near source as much as you can when it comes to like physical goods like this, unless you can really take advantage of scale. So my understanding is that box being manufactured in China, the speaker's installed, and then I guess they can ship to maybe directly to distributors from there. Honestly, I really have no idea. It might still go through American distribution, European distribution. I don't know. But I am saying this. If they want to hit a price point that's not attainable from German manufacturing, then they would have to really go through a process of making sure that they could manufacture a unit, and that unit would fit in the product line in terms of quality and the look and the feel and everything, and availability even from that manufacturer if they were to go to China. Now, they're making a little box in China. Does that mean they're maybe going to make more in China? I have no idea. But I'll leave you all with this. Kemper has shown us that they can make a unit, no one's going to know about it. They've shown us that they are capable of on a software standpoint of making multiple OSs, one for the traditional units and then one for the stage. They've shown us they're willing to move buttons around. Let's get rid of the EQ button, put it on the amp section. Let's get rid of the physical ground lift switches and make them software switches. So they're willing to make changes, and they're willing to fix the software to make it work and maintain multiple OSs for different units. Do I think we're going to see another Kemper in 2021? I personally think so. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I want to know what you think in the comments. Let me know. New Kemper in 2021? Powered stage? Could be. Little unit? Let's find out. HW. It's 2021, baby! Tone Junkie TV. Thanks so much for watching.